Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Now on day 1 there were a lot of different paths that can work out. Like we saw rifle Zukas with Kavan, some Scorchers, even some tanks. But one that stood out and kind of surprising was Warriors and Medics. And looking back, it sort of makes sense since having maxed out Medics you can out-heal flames, machine guns, and mines. But we paired that with Kavan and we'll show a few hits. One other thing to note is we did leave Flare at level 2, and that sort of helped out a bit on some of these hits. It just means when you shift your troops, everyone only moves slightly and not all of them go to that Flare. But we'll check out the first one. So here, we got a pretty common style base, and usually you run 2 medics and 6 warriors. Dropping 2 medics, 4 warriors on the right, and 2 in Kavan on the far left. And Kavan does run pretty fast, so you can pop a second wind and get some rifles back once he gets to that black-yellow line. And these rifles do help add a bit of firepower. Once the right ER goes down, we can send that level 2 flare on the left. And again, this just shifts everyone just slightly. And some warriors' rifles get there, and the ones that took care of the other ER, flare is going to expire and they're going to spread out. Usually Kavan's in a good spot, so you can pop another second wind. You don't want to use too much GB since that Flotty at the end is going to need some more help. Once a good number of buildings go down, you can just start flaring the ERs. So here we flare this one, and then the last one up there. Kavan isn't really at a good spot, but the warriors he spawns are going to eventually get there. It's okay if a bunch of your own warriors die, as long as you have some backup coming in. And here the rifles help out too, since they're in the blind spot of that Flotty. And looks like we'll get 245. We did lose a good bit of warriors, so I wouldn't say this is the best for no IT, but it does get some fast hits. And we'll check out the next one. So here, slightly different kind of base, but we'll do the same. 6 warriors, 2 medics. Usually like dropping medics first since it takes a little while for them to run up ahead. And you can see as the warriors take damage, they start healing, and since we have max medics, their heal packs help a bunch of warriors up there. Even if they hit shock mines, it's not a big deal. You can still clear most buildings. But the biggest part about these hits is finding a flare spot that you can spread warriors even more. So here we choose this side, and after this machine gun we get a good split. Tick 2 flare helps because rifles in the right are gonna stay there, kill the flame and mortar. And Kavan's in a good spot, since even if they go to that Flotty, he can spawn more warriors. We didn't really want the Flotty to blow up, so send a flare to finish it off. And a bit early on the other one, but you can always send more flares to fix mistakes. It is annoying when you mistime a flare, but it's important not to panic and just redo it on the ER you missed. Here we flare the final ER, and looks like we'll get around 245. So we'll see if it's fast enough. And that's a win, so even with that mistimed flare, you can still pull off some decent hits. Here's a slightly different base. He's a Scorcher player, so not a lot of defense. But doing the same idea with finding a place where you can keep warriors out of a lot of damage and maybe split them up. In this case we went behind the ER, and once this one goes down we just flare the next. And almost the last 2, but waiting on Kavan and the medics to catch up. In these cases I do like ground flares because if you flare a building, then the warriors that are lagging behind, they're just gonna stay there. So we let them free clear a bit. And we do have the GB, so popping some second winds. Since we flared a lot in this hit, we didn't do a second wind early on for rifles. If we still have them near the end, still is a plus because if warriors hit a bunch of shock mines, and the rifles can still catch up and do a lot of damage. But here we'll get a 259 and see how the time compares. And on this base, it's a little similar to the first hit we showed, just no snipers. So again, we'll take 2 medics, 4 warriors, and do 2 in Kavan, a bit more to the left. Before I used to do second wind right away, but Kavan is faster than rifles, so you can wait till he goes all the way up to the ramp and then do a second wind. Here we're waiting for the right ER to go down, then we'll do a regroup flare on the left. Even if you have your flare leveled up a bit, should still be fine. Just instead of doing so far left, maybe you can do more of a central spot. And he did have a lot of mines, so warriors we lose, we can pop another second wind. And you can see up there with that fly, he has a bunch of mines around, so that's why we don't try to use too many abilities early on. And then once this ER goes down, we'll send that last flare. One mistake we made before is it's level 2 flare ran out and they stopped at the Flotty and blew themselves up. So you can just make sure you have GB for that final flare. Here even all our warriors pretty much died, but had enough rifles to finish it off. Get a 239, not really a good time, but we'll see. And looks like he's not going to finish, so should be another win. And that's going to be 19, so we'll get that rank chest and see how our tech tree looks like. We could unlock some more building health now, and even though it's only 20%, should have a decent enough impact. Another option is we go towards 5 ER, and I do think that's going to be the next big part of the season. Since after 5 ER you have cannons, boom cannons, and it'll put a big dent against all types of hits, but especially tanks and scorchers. Even later some more building damage and another proto. Otherwise before 4 ER we got most of the tech we can. Picked up one hero, I guess there's just boom mines defensively. We aren't really going to pick up this node, even though warrior boost would help out on these hits. So we're really just playing the long game and what's going to be better in a few days from now. And for those who did go tanks or even scorchers, we did have another stream earlier today, so if you want you can check out some of those hits. But on this account, again we went a bit more defensive with rifle Zooks and also getting Kavan. I'm sure the meta is going to change as more people get up there, already but 2 diamonds. But for the next day or so, as we save till 5 ER, I'm sure a lot more people with kind of weird tech are gonna rank up. Things like Scorchers and Brick, or maybe even Bullet. We'll keep on going forward with Kavan and see how it goes. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.